Well, I don't know if you just saw it. I don't know if you just saw it. Marvin Harrison Jr. Nepotism is alive. Nepotism is alive. Marvin Harrison Jr. wins the Biletnikoff 2023 Biletnikoff over Malik Neighbors. How do you feel about that? How does that sit with you? It doesn't sit well with me at all. Malik Neighbors, I mean, you just go through the numbers. He absolutely dwarfed, absolutely eclipsed Marvin Harrison. And what really, really bothers me, Marvin Harrison Jr., I should say, what really, really gets under my skin, I really wonder if Malik scores that last touchdown, that like 50, 60-yard play that gets called back for the holding penalty, that he would have for sure broken Josh Reed's receiving yards record. I wonder, had that not been called back, maybe the committee for the Biletnikoff has just no choice but to give Malik Neighbors the trophy. It felt like he had to obliterate Marvin Harrison Jr. in every single category to get this award. And because they were tied on touchdowns or something, Marvin Harrison Jr. is thought to win this award. I knew when he was given a Heisman invite, it scared me, it worried me. But part of me was thinking, well, maybe they gave him this Heisman invite because they're going to give Malik the Biletnikoff and they want to, give him some sort of prestige, some sort of love. Well, it just doesn't seem right to me that Malik is denied this award. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right at all. We know why Marvin Harrison Jr. won this award. He wasn't the best receiver in college football in 2023. That was Malik Neighbors, and that will always be remembered that way. If you go through the performances, do you think Marvin Harrison Jr. could have anywhere near that kind of performance? 171 yards, 10 catches, 1 touchdown against Alabama that Malik had? I don't think so. Do you think he could have had the performance that Malik put up against A&M? I don't think so. Marvin Harrison had 4 performances of 35 yards or less. 35 yards or less. And he's winning the Biletnikoff. He's got a Heisman nomination. The Ohio State bias with these award season trophies has gotten out of hand. It's gotten out of hand. This is actually Ohio State's first Biletnikoff award in quite some time, and they think they're wide receiver U. This goes back to the 90s or something with them. I can't remember the last person who won was it Terry Glenn? Yep. Terry Glenn was the last guy to win the Biletnikoff for Ohio State. When did he win that thing? It's just he won the 95 Biletnikoff award. So this is their second Biletnikoff award since 95. LSU's got 2 since 2001 and should have had a third here tonight. Malik Neighbors did everything to be a Biletnikoff winner and was stripped of this award because of name and having a father that is in the Hall of Fame, I guess is going to get you more prestige, more of the decision when things are split hairs like this. I'm just absolutely stunned that they really were going to do this and be like this. Give Marvin Harrison an award he did not deserve. Malik had what, 200 more receiving yards than Marvin Harrison Jr., dwarfed him in receiving yards per game. The competition Malik was playing against was higher. The performances were stronger. I mean, when Malik 100-yard performances, when he put up over 100 yards, you felt it. He made plays that defined games, that changed games. And I understand it. Ohio State, Kyle McCord, not on the level of Jaden Daniels, who's going to win the Heisman. But it's almost like they're punishing Malik for rewarding Jaden Daniels. Well, Jaden Daniels is so excellent, we're going to say that Malik is not as good. He had a better quarterback. Excuse me. These two guys together ran college football, owned college football, dominated college football, and you can put Brian Thomas Jr. in that as well. If Malik Nabers is not there, Jaden Daniels is not able to put up as many numbers as he did this season. So you take away Malik Nabers from Jaden Daniels. Is he here tonight for the Heisman? Is he here this weekend for the Heisman? You know, like, if you're going to judge it by that, it just makes no sense to me. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback, best player in America. He's going to win the Heisman. Malik Nabers was the best receiver in college football. He should have won the Biletnikoff. Number one in receiving, number one receiving yards per game, number one with 34 plays over 20 yards, more than the last 5 Biletnikoff winners. More than any of the last 5, including a guy who won the Heisman as well, Devonta Smith. It makes no sense. It belies reality. It laughs in the face of reality and just says, well, nepotism is going to win here. Someone with, prestige as a parent is going to win this here. Someone with a name on the back of their jersey. Here's the thing that I can't stress enough, though. Malik made his own name. He carved his own path. He's blazing his own trail, and he didn't have to rely on some name on the back of a jersey. These awards, they couldn't wait to give Marvin Harrison Jr. an award. They had him for the Biletnikoff last year, nominated him for the Biletnikoff last year, could not give it to him. And so just were desperate to give it to him, I guess. But because they also have this guy as a Heisman nominee, which is just insane to me. A Heisman finalist. College football, these committees, they're really screwing things up. And I understand that, past winners are on the voting panel as well for these awards. And I think a lot of those voters are just in awe over the fact that, he's Marvin Harrison's son, and look at what he can do. Ooh, look at the potential here. That's fine and well, but this award was about who was the best receiver in 2023, not who has the most potential, who's going to be a draft lock, top 5 pick, top 10 pick. Malik could be a top 10 pick as well. He's definitely going to be in the first round. And so it makes no sense to me. You like Bluey? Sage is here watching Bluey with me. And so it just makes no sense to me that they would not give Malik Nabers this award. I understand why they just were so desperate to give Marvin Harrison Jr. an award. And that's really what this comes down to. The name on the back of the jersey carries weight. And I just don't understand. It's very sickening to me when Malik Nabers will always be remembered as a guy who broke program records. That Jamar Chase, that Justin Jefferson, that Dwayne Bowe, none of these guys could touch. Odell Beckham Jr., none of these guys could touch. He passed them all. And then he led the nation in receiving yards by over 250 yards over Marvin Harrison Jr. The only statistical category where they even come close is they're tying for touchdowns. I don't know how you can make that argument for how Marvin Harrison Jr. was the best receiver in America in 2023 over 12 games over Malik Neighbors. I don't understand how you can make that argument. You can't make that argument. And that's why these awards are just given out by people who, nameless, faceless. I don't understand any past winner of the Biletnikoff not voting for Malik Neighbors. I really wonder what the breakdown in that vote was. What the percentage of that vote was. How much of a percentage went to Marvin Harrison Jr.? How much of a percentage went to Malik Neighbors? I'm sorry, but that bugs the shit out of me when people continue. Oh God, we opened up the Heisman reaction video, not the God, we always make some stupid mistake like that. We had the video for the Heisman reaction. We had the video for the Biletnikoff reaction. Oh, people probably laughing their asses off at us. Jaden Daniels won the Davey O'Brien Award, and probably as we're speaking right now, I'm sure he has picked up the Walter Camp Trophy as well. And it's great to see. It's great to see him cleaning up awards. It's great to see him echoing Joe Burrow really in 2019, just shoving it down people like John Calzano and Ryan Leaf, just shoving it up there, just right up their face, just like, dude, this is our time. This is our time. And what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it, bro? It's so annoying that we chose the wrong video. Chose the wrong setup thing. Oh God. Ba ba ba. Ready to come out? Ready to come out of the chair? I don't know how they could not give this award to Malik Neighbors. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a pathetic season statistically in comparison to Malik. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I don't. Oh, buddy, we don't understand it. We don't get it. It's really, really dumb for us to see somebody who deserved this award, who earned this award thoroughly, just not getting it, just not getting the benefit of the doubt, losing out to the big name, the big dog, the big brand, to Ohio State, who always get these. They're always in these awards. Like look at Troy Smith winning a Heisman in 2006. Like, come on, there's some awards Ohio State have been favored for and gotten in the last few years, last decade plus. They're just like, you guys don't deserve it. Unbelievable. Really, really, really disgusting what they've done. This was Malik Neighbors' award. (1,546 yards receiving. I mean, let's just go through it. Let's just compare the two right now. Let's just compare the two. I love how it still says Heisman reaction. God, why did we select the wrong video? Oh, we have to switch the other one now. Heisman reaction. 1,546 yards from Malik, 1,211 to Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's get the share screen on here so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. Yards per game, Malik by 28.1 yards. Leads in that category by almost 30 yards per game. Tied with touchdowns. I think that was a big category that people were able to make that stupid argument. And then this, Malik, 86 catches to Marvin Harrison Jr.'s 67. So that's 19 more catches than Marvin Harrison Jr. And Malik was only 7th in the nation in reception. So Marvin Harrison Jr. even farther down that list. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a higher drop percentage. Missed tackles force. Malik made 30 would-be tacklers miss after the catch. Marvin Harrison Jr. just 5. Just 5. Malik had 18 more first downs than Marvin Harrison Jr. 18 more. NFL rating when targeted. Malik 142.7. Marvin Harrison Jr. 120.3. 22.4 difference there. Malik with one more 100-yard game than Marvin Harrison Jr., but while we're counting 100-yard games, let's also count games under 30 yards. 4 games under 30 yards for Marvin Harrison Jr. The PFF rating, the Pro Football Focus rating, of course, Malik was first in the country for like the last 10 weeks and held that wire to wire. Versus top 25 defenses, Malik with more yards, 1 fewer touchdown. His worst game versus a top 25 defense was just 67 yards versus Florida State. Not the worst in the world, but that was his lowest production of the entire season. Marvin Harrison Jr.'s worst game versus top 25 defense, 2 games of 32 yards or less versus Notre Dame and Rutgers. Those are 2 top 25 defenses. Against 2 top 25 defenses, 2 games of 32 yards or less. Malik's worst game against a top 25 defense was 67 yards. The rest were over 100-yard games. Games with lowest production from Malik, 67 against Florida State, and then 87 versus Grambling and 89 versus Auburn. Remember, Malik also sat the entire 4th quarter versus Mississippi State, and he already had 239 yards. Malik could have literally had a 300-yard game had he stayed in there. Malik could have broken another LSU receiver's single game SEC yards mark. 308 yards by Kayshon Boutte in 2020 versus Ole Miss. Malik, had he stayed in that game, could have done that. And maybe in hindsight, that was a moment Brian Kelly maybe wishes he had back. Get Malik a crazy game, not just a 200-yard game, but a crazy game that no one will be able to dismiss. No one can take away from him. Because for some weird reason, they were able to take away 71 yards and 10 catches against Alabama. You know, if for some weird reason they were able to take away having the 4th single game all-time receiving performance in program history against Mississippi State with 239, catching 13 passes from 13 targets. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 13 out of 13. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 18 yards, just 18 yards versus Indiana. 25 yards versus Notre Dame. He only had 30 versus Rutgers. Both those are top 25 defenses. And then against Minnesota, just 32. So he was terrible against terrible teams and then terrible against top 25 defenses. And then he showed up against Penn State, showed up just a little bit against Michigan, and was able to steal this award from Malik Neighbors. Literally an absolute robbery in the night. And it's disgusting. It's sickening. I can't stand it. I don't get it. I don't subscribe to it. Malik Neighbors was the number one receiver in college football this season. And I don't care who complains about that. And how dare you take it away from Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, I'm going to. Because it shouldn't be in his hands right now. That award should be in Malik Neighbors' hands. Malik Neighbors earned that award. I almost feel like if Malik Neighbors even had 2,000 yards this season, they still would have given this award to Marvin Harrison Jr. Doesn't it kind of feel like it? Doesn't it kind of feel like it? Like, had he even had 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, they don't give it to him. Like, I mean, yeah, that's exaggerated. They probably would have at that point. But I'm just saying, like, my God. It just felt like they were just doing whatever they could not to give Malik Neighbors this award. And I know he doesn't, have that Hollywood perfect smile. And I know he doesn't absolutely have all the charisma in the world on the camera. And I know maybe he had some legal stuff with the gun this offseason that makes this awards committee act all moralistic. But how about when you talk about people with guns? Look at Marvin Harrison Jr.'s dad. Didn't he kill someone in a nightclub? So I heard that was going to potentially cost Malik the award. That because his legal stuff with carrying a weapon in New Orleans this offseason during Mardi Gras, which is absolutely ridiculous when you look at the history of where Marvin Harrison Jr. comes from. I mean, there's a Hall of Fame, talent there, but let's don't act like this is Mr. Morality and this is why he's going to get the award and he's such a great kid and is so perfect. It's a little disingenuous when you try and act like you're not just, this isn't about favoritism. You're trying to act like this is about the intangibles and all this bullshit. It's frankly ridiculous. Sage, stop touching that. Stop touching the dustpan. I tell you what, when this kid gets fixated on something, he just gets obsessed and just will not stop. He is just, you are a terrorist of the mind. Seriously, you are a terrorist. Trying to pick up all of his, literally just about to make a catastrophic mess with noodles everywhere. That just, if you've got kids, you know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't have to explain. But yes, I wanted to get our reaction fresh, hot off the press, because this is a player that we've been following for years and years, Malik Neighbors. We got to know Malik because of Jack Besh, who was Malik and him are still very close friends, and Jack would always compliment Malik and always say, this dude is even better than me, and would always give him a bunch of kudos, and they would always talk about how they wanted to win awards together. And I know even though Jack isn't at LSU anymore, he's rooting hard for Malik and is really annoyed by the outcome of tonight as well. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. And I know we're going to likely have some of this wound you know, kind of forgotten about by Jaden Daniels winning a Heisman. It doesn't change the fact that this is wrong. It's just wrong. I don't know how to say it any other way. It is wrong that Marvin Harrison Jr. has that award. And I don't think I'll get over the fact that this was given purely on the basis of name and not on what took place on the field. And that, there's a pattern with college football making broad sweeping decisions that had nothing to do with what happened on the field. It is an absolute robbery, a disgrace, and it's just shameful, disgusting display from the Biletnikoff committee to give anyone else that award but the number one receiver in the game. Not just in yards, but in multiple categories. And then he's this close, 23 yards, which he's going to achieve in the bowl game, from breaking the all-time LSU receiving record. He already has the all-time LSU receptions record. He has more big plays, which is what wins games, explosive plays, than the last 5 Biletnikoff winners. I don't understand how Malik Neighbors doesn't fit there. Even if you wanted to do co-Biletnikoff, even if you wanted to give it to both Malik and Marvin, I would have been okay with that. Just give Malik Neighbors an award for what he's done. Even if you wanted to give it to Marvin as well. If you give it to both of them, it would piss me off still because Malik is so much better than what Marvin Harrison produced this season. But I would have accepted it just as long as Malik got his shine that he has deserved. This is a quiet dude, a dude who doesn't always want the limelight, doesn't always want the credit. Give him that award. This is a guy who's willing and ready to come back and play in a bowl game for his teammates to go get that record. It's a dude who wants to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time to play for LSU. How can the old school guys not want to vote for a dude like that? Instead, they just want to vote for a guy who's going to skip a bowl game and go top 5 and maybe be actually a bust in the end because he goes to the wrong team or whatever. It's just, to me, I know what type of receiver Malik Neighbors is going to be in the NFL, and I think he's going to have a better career. I think he's going to have a longer career than Marvin Harrison Jr. And his dad can't teach him how to have an NFL career. His dad can't guide him through every step of the way of the NFL career because he's going to have to live that himself. He can't teach him how to be great with every quarterback he plays because he doesn't have Peyton Manning to be right there for a decade plus. Everything with the Colts organization basically stabilized people who weren't stable at all. Jim Irsay, the owner, was always popping pills. Marvin Harrison Jr. couldn't stay out of the club shooting people. And they somehow kept it going because they were so consistent and the continuity was there as an organization to keep those guys in line, to keep things moving. Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know what type of person he is. I can't really speak to that. I don't really care too much about that. And I don't think anything that his dad has done reflects on what type of person he is. But the way that this has turned against Malik makes me think there's certain factors here that just don't make sense to me, that why they were against Malik. Because that's what you have to do here. You couldn't just say, oh, well, they're both so great. Well, we got to give it to one of them. I guess we'll give it to Marvin. You had to literally take this award out of Malik Neighbors' hands and give it to Marvin Harrison Jr. How did that happen? Why? What was the excuse for why that would be possible or okay. What were the strikes against Malik that weren't shared by Marvin Harrison Jr.? Was it the 3 losses? Because if so, I mean, look at Ohio State this season. If they're in the SEC West, they probably have 3, maybe even 4 losses themselves as well. It's they're not even looking at the rate of competition. They're not even looking at the actual factors that determine great players, greatness on the field. I just have a sickening sense that we was robbed. Malik was robbed tonight. Sage is going to town on some piece of plastic over there. Trying to pop the plastic, Sagey. We absolutely love Malik. Love his mom, Tanya. Wish them nothing but the best. We know Malik is going to have an amazing career coming forward. We know he's just about to break Josh Reed's record coming up here in this bowl game. And he'll move past this. This won't get him down for too long. But you and I both know that it'll probably bother Malik for a long time, for probably his entire career, that he put it all on the line. He did everything possible. He went above and beyond. He fulfilled everything and then some, and it still wasn't enough. You know, when he put up that crazy 150-yard game against Texas A&M in the last week, it felt like, okay, that's the moment. That's the moment he's got this, right? And it didn't turn out to be that way. I just doesn't make too much sense to me. And I'm kind of struggling with how to feel about a season where Malik fulfilled everything, ticked every box, crossed every T, dotted every I, as far as being the best receiver in America, and got nothing for it. Especially, I mean, that's one thing if you have a close competitor, but when you dwarf and balloon eclipse the other guy's numbers in such a radical, unbelievable way, and you still get nothing, it's remarkable to me, and it's almost stunning. And the absolute arrogance from these voters to give Marvin Harrison Jr. this award over Malik is stunning. Here, buddy, want a drink? Huh, buddy, it's absolutely messed up that they didn't give it to Malik, huh? Sage loves Malik too. We're really disturbed by this, but we're really happy that Jaden Daniels got his awards, but we just think we know we know what's coming. You know, we know Jaden Daniels is about to win the Heisman Trophy. We understand that he is about to become the 3rd ever LSU Tiger to hoist the Heisman. But on the other side of the coin, I find it really disgusting, really sad that Malik Neighbors wasn't going to join him in the awards season categories as a Biletnikoff winner, because he deserved it. He earned it. He did everything possible to make it happen, to make it possible. And for some reason, the powers that be took that away from him. And it doesn't feel right. It isn't right. It's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely not okay. And it's another great shame, great stain upon these college football committees, these college football decision makers who, you know, keep out undefeated conference champions and then also, you know, vote on a 4-team playoff to begin with when it should have been at least 8 to begin with. We were always going to have something like this happen with 5 power conferences and only 4 spots. And then you've got these awards going to people who just frankly don't deserve them. I just don't. It happens every single year. There's award season. Just what were they thinking? Why did they do that? They did that. They gave that guy the award. I'm always looking back through history at some of these awards seasons. And there's a lot of them that it's like, yep, that's the guy who deserved it. Like Randy Moss winning the 1997 Biletnikoff. Duh. He was incredible at Marshall. Marshall is a small school. It didn't, and that's the spirit of the award. Malik Neighbors didn't have to be in the college football playoff to win this award. And he was still, with 3 losses, right alongside Jaden Daniels as the best in his position in the game. Malik should have had a Heisman spot if you're putting Marvin Harrison Jr. in the Heisman. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Heisman finalist, then Malik Neighbors should have been one ahead of him. It's just performances on the field don't matter as much anymore. And I'm struggling to understand why that's the case. Luckily, at least as far as the Heisman goes, that won't be the case. And it looks like we'll be celebrating on Saturday night. It's just a really sour feeling of what could have been and what should have been, really. Not just what could have been, but what should have been. Because Malik should have won this award. And I'll never get over the fact that he was screwed by a committee of dweebs and doobs who have no clue what it takes to be the best receiver in America. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't know what it takes to be the best receiver in America because he's never been that. He's never been that. Malik had a 1,000-yard season with an offense that was so rudimentary, so conservative. The routes were so dysfunctional, disjointed. The passing game was so disjointed. He only had 3 touchdowns the entire season. And he somehow had 1,000 yards in that crazy season last year. You go back and watch the tape. It's stunning how good he is at adjusting to the ball. Malik Neighbors is the better receiver. Malik Neighbors is the better player. Malik Neighbors is more valuable to his team. Malik Neighbors won more games for his team. Malik Neighbors was more decisive, more explosive, more productive. Malik Neighbors mattered more to his teammates. Without him on the field, there was a dip in performance. With him on the field, his greatness was infectious. Infectious. When that guy delivered on the field, when that guy bossed it on the field, everyone around him upped their level. Everyone around him wanted to go up in another gear. And that includes the soon-to-be Heisman quarterback, Jaden Daniels. He was inspired. He was turned on by Malik Neighbors' greatness. And you're telling me that guy isn't the Biletnikoff winner? Well, asterisk next to 2023 Biletnikoff winner, Marvin Harrison Jr. Big fat asterisk. Big fat asterisk. A big fat asterisk. There's a big fat asterisk right there next to Marvin Harrison Jr. 2023 Biletnikoff winner, because you and I know he doesn't deserve this award. He didn't earn this award. It's a disgrace. Disregard the fact that it says Heisman. That will be changed. It already has been changed. It just won't refresh on here. Can you believe that, Sagey? Can you believe that stuff? Absolute sickos. Oh, God. The same thing over and over. Terrible. Sage, it's a terrible, terrible sound. Oh, my God. Okay. Posting some stuff, sharing some stuff, sending some stuff. Join us tomorrow, right after the second the Heisman goes down, the second the Heisman is awarded. We will be live here without Sage, and we'll be dialed in, ready for that historic moment for you to react as well, because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be epic. I want to hear all your thoughts on Jaden Daniels and why he deserves this Heisman Trophy and why he is ultimately going to win it. And it's going to be a very special night, as LSU are all but expected to get their third ever Heisman winner in program history. And it's about time. 2 and 4 years. That's beautiful. It's LSU's second Heisman winner, second Heisman quarterback in 4 seasons, coming at you tomorrow night. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.